Bullseye Glass has filed a $30 million lawsuit against Gov. Kate Brown and her top environmental regulator, claiming they conspired to launch an unprecedented crackdown on the Southeast Portland art glass maker to mask the state's own lax record of environmental protection. The low-profile company was caught up in an environmental and political furor in 2016 when its air emissions were linked to elevated levels of certain toxic metals in inner Southeast Portland. Local residents were warned not to eat vegetables from their gardens. No Oregon business has ever been treated the way Bullseye was treated, the company claims. Bullseye was shut down, and its goodwill and good name were irreparably damaged by defendants' actions. Besides Brown, the defendants include Richard Whitman, Director of the Department of Environmental Quality, Pat Allen, Director of the Oregon Health Authority, and the Multnomah County Health Department. Alan Garten, a former federal prosecutor who came out of retirement to represent Bullseye, said the company was always in compliance with its air emissions agreement with the Department of Environmental Quality. But Brown and Whitman, the DEQ director, needed a political win and saw Bullseye as a convenient scapegoat, the lawsuit alleges. Bullseye claims Brown, Whitman, and others leaked questionable data to the news media, setting off an environmental hysteria. Bullseye has since reopened after spending $1.5 million upgrading its facilities, which it claims has nearly eliminated cadmium, lead and other toxic metals from its emissions. Garten said he intends to put the state of Oregon on trial. This case is about abuse of governmental power, Bullseye states in its complaint. It is about Oregon's government coddling huge industries with deep pockets and political ties, and allowing them to dump hundreds of millions of pounds of industrial pollutants and hazardous substances into Oregon's air. And it is about how Oregon's government, when its lax enforcement and history of neglect got exposed, rushed to judgment and irrationally turned the full weight of its administrative and punitive powers on a small business, not the real polluters. Indeed, rather than make common cause with other businesses regulated by the state, Bullseye calls out by name 5 other Oregon businesses that Bullseye claims have dumped tons of pollution into the state's air and water with little if any repercussions. Bullseye devotes 15 pages of its 88-page complaint to the environmental records of ESCO in Northwest Portland, Hollingsworth and Voss in Corvallis, and Amer Itys of the Dalles. It claims Hollingsworth and Voss, a maker of batteries and filtration systems with a long record of environmental issues, emissions into the Willamette River exceeded its allowable maximum by 7,000 pounds. In response, the state fined the company $2,600, Bullseye claims. DEQ has traditionally viewed Oregon big industry as its client, and the mission statement on its website includes economic growth among its goals, Bullseye says in its complaint, noting that the agency is funded by fees from the industries it regulates. Jeff Manning.